Welcome back to Talk Our Way Out podcast. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. Other than that, I got nothing.
Hey, this is your boy Dustin, Matt, and Kyle, and everybody. I know there's only 60 of you that actually watch it, but we're okay. The flooding is in our home here, in our homeland of the Fraser Valley in British Columbia here. There's so much flooding that we literally can't leave the town, which, I mean, for a lot of people, that sucks. I think for these farmers in this area, that sucks.
Yeah.
Their houses are like underwater. There's lots of places that are really bad, like evacuating bad. But we're good.
That's basically how I felt this whole pandemic. Like the pandemic hit, this is hitting, and I'm like, I haven't missed a day of work. Like, nothing's affected me so far.
Yeah, like obviously, like it's very sad what's going on, but I'm just like, my work's fine, my family's fine, most of my friends are fine. I don't think there's anyone. I think some people have a little bit of flooding. But
Today was the first day Caden experienced what it means for climate change. Because we were talking about how Castle Fun Park is basically underwater.
Right?
And he's like, whoa, that's crazy. Can we go there later today? And I'm like, no, like we actually cannot. Like it's underwater right now. And he's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, we probably can't go to Castle Fun Park for a little while, man. He's like, oh no. Yeah, there it is.
Caden, you just have to go in the pool, in the tub, and practice holding your breath.
Yeah.
And once you learn to breathe underwater, then we can go.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny too, because back in the 90s, Castle Fun Park was like the same thing happened. Like Whatcom was flooded.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense of why the underwater golf course smells so musky. Because it was literally underwater at one point.
That's so gross.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's crazy the Whatcom scenario though, because it's all the runoff coming from the States, because their lake is flooding obviously as well. But that whole area used to be a lake, apparently, and there's pumps under the ground that are obviously pumping out the water to keep it so that we're a highway and not a lake. But apparently those are almost like malfunctioning. Like last night
You're overworked.
Yeah, there's 200 people sandbagging by the electrical boxes because it was inching closer and closer to taking out all the power.
So I believe it's the Barrowtown pumps. And it's the second hardest working pump in all of North America. Like it is literally moving like I think if all 4 pumps are engaged, it's moving an Olympic sized swimming pool every minute.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Like that is so much water.
Yeah. Because the Fraser Valley or the entire Fraser River is just feeding right here. But we have one pump pushing everything out. And that's just crazy.
And imagine how you look, like anybody that knows what's going on, you look on a map, you see the aerial view of this area. There's water covering the highway for as far as you can see. And that's with the pump still going.
Yeah.
It's taking that much water out at all times. Like if that thing goes, it's a literal disaster.
Yeah.
Like, there's no coming back.
The river's literally going to start flowing into town.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, will that affect us? Probably. I feel like that'll be the thing
From
that'll push it over the
Chilliwack,
edge.
I think it would be like, it would be close to us. But I know that like closer to like where all the farmland is, where it already is flooded, it could be like about 3 meters or more underwater. And like the average person is 1.5 meters, maybe. Like
that's wild.
Yeah.
Man, I think it's so crazy because like you know, at this point, everyone can look up on like Twitter and see like all of the, you know, at first when it first started, you had to like look on like our local Facebook groups to find like all the pictures like, oh my God, it's so rainy. And like, I remember that first day, I didn't even know it was like bad weather outside. I like walk outside. I'm like, it's raining really hard. Wah, I have to get a better jacket. Like that's how I felt. And then I'm like looking and seeing all the stuff in the morning. I'm like, oh shit, like there's like mudslides, like fucking the mountains falling off.
Man.
There's a chunk of the highway completely erased. Like someone was like, nope.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh shit.
I literally woke up with Caden, got him ready for school. We're having breakfast, driving all the way to school. We get there and there's no one there. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where is everyone? Is it not a pro D day? I don't know anything about this.
You don't check the updates?
Well, it was a school day, man. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Like,
it's shitty weather.
I just woke up. Yeah, it was a bit of rain, like back in my day.
Yeah, that's
the only responsible adult that wakes up and doesn't immediately check Twitter.
Yeah.
He goes about his real life.
I just woke up and I was just getting ready for the day, man. And I find that, like, yeah. So I got back home and I'm like, what are we gonna do today, Caden? Like, I was very blown up. I was blown away because I just thought everyone was a bunch of wimps.
Well, I think it's kind of funny because it's like what Kyle said in the group chat the other day, where it's like you'd think a place that experiences as much rain as our part of the world does would be better prepared for some rain.
Yeah, we're known for this.
This is what we do.
This was 24 hours. Like, granted, obviously there was a lot of rain, but 24 hours, and we lose highways, we lose mountainsides, we might lose a town. 24 hours of rain. It's crazy.
Absurd.
And like what you were saying about it affecting us, like the day to day, I agree. It's not really gonna affect our being injured or being flooded as much, but it's the long term, because there's literally no access. We have no access to more food. The trains are derailed. They can't get through a lot of places. And then even like we've seen it now, the stores are bare because everybody panic buys, because when COVID started, there's no toilet paper. So this time they're like, we're just taking everything. There's not even vegetables. Like, people are eating vegetables for the first time in their life, just in case.
Yeah.
And like, even gas stations are shutting down. Like, this is where if this lasts like 2-3 weeks where they can't gain the access, it's gonna be kind of like when you see a video of like a third world country or like Call of Duty where the helicopter comes and drops the food down. Like, it might actually get to the point where that is the only way we can get food, which is crazy.
Well, I do know that the pilots in the Chilliwack airport, they're offering charters and stuff like that back and forth from Abbotsford to Chilliwack and trying to help people out. Still, like, making money, obviously, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I've got a buddy with a boat kind of doing the same thing. He lives out in Abbotsford. He's real redneck, so he's probably got a fishing rod as he's going, but he does the same thing in the winter. He has a big truck and he sits at the bottom of any big hill, and when a car goes up and falls down, he just, hey, how much money do you have on you? That's how much it costs me to get up the hill. And then that's how he makes his extra money during the winter if there's any shutdowns.
Wow. That's wild.
Huh.
It's I think it's like you said, like those long-term effects. I'm kind of just like hoping it doesn't last too long. Like, there's no food in the grocery stores. There's no gas. I'm kind of like thinking like, man, like, good thing I got like a half tank. I'm not trying to go anywhere.
Yeah. Well, the way I see it too is, you know, when you're on the highway and it's like kind of busy and a car, like 100 cars ahead of you, they'll like hit their brakes really quick. And then the car behind hits their brake a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
And then like, there's that like slinky effect almost, right? So I feel like this event on its own is going to be fixed relatively quickly. Like, probably in a week or two, highways will be cleared up. We'll be back going. But I feel like the long-term supply chain effect of all of this is going to be like years in the making.
I'd say that. That's annoying to me.
Even when you said like the brakes, the creepiest thing is in the mornings, because I get up super early. Generally, there's trucks, there's vehicles, whatever. Silent. I'm the only car on the road. There's nobody else. There's no cops on the side. There's nothing at all.
Yeah.
And there's no water. Even like where we are, it's not really affected by the floods aren't on the sides of the roads or anything, but just nobody. And that's scary as hell, because those people that are driving at night are what supply the day. Like for my work, we're going to be out of aggregate, out of sand, out of rock. That means that we can't be building the stuff that goes under anything that gets made. And all these places that need wood, need this. Everything shuts down.
Yeah.
And at that point, that's what scares me, is in the 2 to 3 weeks of people not having a job, not having a paycheck. That I don't trust anybody in general, but I really don't have faith in downtown Chilliwack being civil. I don't think that's gonna stick.
No.
I'm lucky I got my house a little bit too far away, so it takes a long time to rob me, but it's still scary business.
Yeah, I think it, I also was too reflecting, like, I only just got a new job, like, locally, but for the longest time I was working in Abbotsford. So if this happened even a month or 2 earlier, I could have been going to work, I could have been having the highway shut down at like 7 o'clock, and then I would have been like, cool, I'm off at 2 a.m. I got nowhere to go, and all my friends are asleep. And now what? I just sleep in my car for the next couple days to a week. How long is this? How long is the highway going to be closed? Like,
Untold.
if it just gets more underwater, it's only getting worse.
Yeah, I feel like this winter will probably be bad, and we'll just be on the verge of fixing all of this, and then winter will just hit. So then, like, anything that's still flooded, just frozen.
My nephew Davies made a joke that I thought was kind of funny. He was like, yeah, we got, record-setting heat. We got crazy winds. Now we've got crazy floods. All we need is an earthquake now, and the Avatar is mad at us. I was like, damn.
Bro, that'll be next year. I'm telling you. We're like 200
Please
years
give
overdue.
us a year. Please.
It's not going to happen, man.
We've been overdue for like 100 years or something crazy like
Yeah.
that. The Juan de Fuca plate or something like that.
Everyone's been talking about like we're going to hit the roaring 20s again. It's like back in the 1920s, everyone was just partying all the time, like Great Gatsby kind of thing. It's like, yeah, so far the Great 20s is fucked.
Yeah, maybe it was a
We're
good time for
screwed.
you white people. What the fuck? I don't want to live in the 20s. I'm gonna be out here mowing lawns and shit. Nah, man.
Yeah.
I ain't about
I
that
think more
life.
about the age of prosperity,
Yeah.
not the racism part.
Yeah,
but
I'm not about that life.
In the 20s, it's like everybody's having fun, but everybody's dying at 40. Like you're not living long.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
bang my sisters. This is weird. Why'd it get there? Anyway, so let's move on to the next. So yeah, it's flooding like crazy out here in BC, but it's also flooding like crazy in Egypt. And what makes that even worse is they have fucking scorpions. And now that all the water is flooding these animals out of their burrows, you got scorpions, you got snakes, you got all the shitty things you don't ever want to experience that we don't really experience out here. They're everywhere. They're trying to find new homes in your houses. Like, yeah, maybe in the winter when it's cold out here, you get a little mice or a little bit of a raccoon situation in your backyard or hiding around the fence, and they just come and poke at your garbage every now and then. Can you imagine fucking scorpions everywhere?
yeah.
Like, they got people dying from scorpions, people like 500 people in the hospital from scorpions. No, thank you. So,
I ain't about that life.
no.
I won't even visit Florida because they have snakes and alligators in every water. Like I don't even want to be there, let alone Egypt.
Honestly, I think we kind of touched on this like a while, like I don't know, an episode 2 ago, but it's like that shit is dangerous, and we got like next to nothing out here. So you know what? It's bad out here, but it can always be worse.
Yeah, I remember one of my first couple of days in Thailand. I had this hotel, or I guess hostel, like set
On a dark desert highway.
Yes, exactly.
Cool wind in your hair.
Yeah, so I'm like in the room, and I'm going to bed, and I can see this like line coming out of the flicker for the light switch. I'm like, oh, that's a weird looking line. So I like literally got up to examine it, and it was like a line of bugs just crawling out.
Oh.
Yeah, so it got very weird very quick. So then I'm like, okay, culture shock, I guess. I guess this is just what I have to live with. Like, not a big deal. I'm fine. So then I'm like laying in bed, and I can feel like I'm confident that there's some creepy crawlies in my bed.
Fuck, I'm
So
not
I'm
okay
like,
with that.
Okay, this is weird. So I like take the bed covers off. I look down, and sure enough, there's like literal bugs in my bed. So it was like,
where was this again?
This was in Thailand. Like this was in Bangkok, I believe. Yeah. So I went down to the clerk or hostess or whatever. I'm like, hey, like, I don't know if this is normal or not, but there's some bugs in my bed and crawling out of my light switch, and I'm not trying to complain, but I'm just wondering if that's okay. And she just had this look of shock. She's like, oh, 1 second. She like runs to the back, and I'm guessing they get their manager or something like that. They ended up moving me to the room over like within seconds. Like they just had like 3 or 4 people go in there, grab all my stuff, move it over. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I said something.
You were like, is this just normal Thailand?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I didn't want to be that like one tourist who was like, oh my god, bugs. But yeah, apparently it was like,
That's where I thought the story was gonna go.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh, you have bug. Only
Yeah.
a couple?
yeah,
Did
have
you
some
eat
more.
any of them yet?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I thought it was gonna go. She's like, okay, how many? Only 3? Okay, well, when there's about 50, then we can have a
Yeah,
discussion.
no, it was about 50.
Ah!
You have no like when I'm saying there was a line coming out, there was an actual line, and I didn't understand why I could see this line. So then I walk up, and it's moving around, and then I realize the line has feet, and
Okay, so I'm not like jumpy around bugs. I don't really care about bugs. Like if I'm like, say I'm taking out the garbage or something and going in a crawl space and there's a bunch of bugs or something.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, I'll fucking kill you. Don't fuck with me. Like you're a bug. I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man. I mean, that's debatable after my squealing in the last 5 minutes, but
When you having to talk shit to bugs.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
but like when I'm like in the comfort of my bed and there's a bug, all bets are off. I'm like, get the fuck off me. I am not into this at all.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about Thailand too, I remember a lot of the places I went to go shower. You'd just be showering and you just look beside you and it's just like a gigantic cockroach. Like it was like wild. And like I remember there was one, it was like on the beach. I was doing some island hopping and literally like 2 or 3 cockroaches were just dead in the bathroom. And it's like, holy shit. Like even they can't handle this heat. Like,
they can handle nuclear war, but they can't handle the heat.
Yeah. I was like, wow, it's hot here, man.
It was time for shade.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was really crazy.
That's amazing.
Speaking of hostels, it took me forever to know what they were. Like I didn't
Ever since the movies, they've got a bad rap.
see. That's the thing. I thought hostels were for homeless people. I didn't realize that they
murdered.
were for just cheap.
Yeah.
Like so, like every time that my wife, like when she was still my girlfriend, she'd be like, "Oh, let's go travel Europe or whatever." I'm like, I can't afford to stay in hotels, and she's like, "We'll just stay in hostels." I'm like,
yeah.
no, I'm not staying with poor people. What are you talking about?
Wow.
I'm not the homeless. You think I work every day to sleep with the
We're
homeless?
gonna go to the soup kitchen after.
Going on vacation isn't a vacation if we're homeless and starving. So like going on poverty for 2 months. Yeah. What?
And it wasn't until like a couple years ago that I found out it was just a cheap, like kind of
it's
a
just
room
like
for a
room-
bunch
room-
of people to stay in for
room
cheap.
sharing.
I thought it was just homeless camps.
That's
Like
funny.
so I was, and you're supposed to sleep beside. I don't even like the idea of hostels after I know what they are. Like the fact that it's nice,
You
people
can-
know about it. I don't trust anybody.
There's like different tiers too. There's one where it's like literally just a big room with cots, and then there's others where it's like shared bunk beds, and then there's some where it's like you actually get your own room kind of thing too.
So like kind of like
They're
the
not all
original Airbnb,
Yeah. Yeah.
where it's just off the records.
Yeah, just cheap and run down and
I've never
super
been in
cool.
one.
I almost
cool.
stayed in one. It was on our honeymoon. We were just driving. Ended up seeing a sign for it because we couldn't find any campgrounds. We didn't really have a big plan for the day. Ended up going down the driveway. It's probably 11:30 at night, pitch black. It's a 2-3 minute driveway. So I'm like, this is kind of sketchy right off the bat. And we get up and there's just a guy standing in the doorway, like right beside his garage, and he's just standing there. And I pull up and I stop and he doesn't move, just staring at me. And then he just turns his head and walks away. Immediately, I'm like, I don't know about this. And
That's
Britt's like,
sus.
go talk to him. I'm like, no, I'm not getting out of the car. You're going. I'm not doing this. They might not hurt you. They're definitely gonna attack me. And then like we kind of sat in a stalemate. And then somebody else walked up to the window, did the same thing. And we just turned around. I was like, I can't do this. I already had reservations. Now that I've seen the creepy crawly, I'm not in. I'm out. So
Later.
I've still never stayed.
Oh no.
that's funny.
Changing up. There's another story that came out. Dave Portnoy. I think he's the CEO of Barstool. Is
Yeah.
that what he does?
El Presidente.
El Presidente. So I'm not going to go too much in on his character because I don't actually pay attention to him enough to really have any facts about him. I just know vaguely who he is. I follow Barstool Sports on like Instagram, but that's pretty much as close as that contact is.
I don't hold a high opinion of him.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Now, over the last like week or so, I believe there was an article written about him in Business Insider where basically they just go off about his experiences with women and describe a lot of things as kind of rapey. And basically they paint this big picture of him being a rapist without actually accusing him of rape or any of the females that they're talking about saying that he raped them.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's where my kind of beef is. It's like, it's not whether he did or did not do said things. It's that if you're going to make an accusation, you know, make the accusation. Don't just like beat around the bush, describe him as a criminal, and then don't actually accuse him of said crime and just like intentionally leave it to the public court of opinion. Like that
I
just
feel
seems
like they're-
kind of shady on the article's
Yeah,
part.
they're trying to back him into a corner and blame him for being like a white cis powerful male kind of thing, where it's like, oh, he's in that powerful position. He's probably doing all these things too. And it's like,
Yeah, it was
what?
it was most definitely
That's how I
a
feel.
character assassination because, like you
Yeah.
said, if they did say the word rape, they're accredited journalists. Then an investigation has to start.
Mm-hmm.
Then if they say that and it's not true, that it falls back on them. So they immediately don't do it because they know it's not actually true. So like a big part of it, like I follow Barstool, I follow him pretty like not closely, but I've seen a lot. His whole thing is he's into weird sex. He's had like 5 sex tapes get leaked on him, and like to kind of like wrap
Are they
a belt
good?
around a girl kind of thing.
Yeah, super
And
aggressive.
Yeah, and that's what he's into. And like obviously the girl, he keeps receipts because you don't get to the top
Yeah.
of like sports and like the internet without kind of like looking at it a couple times.
Yeah.
So like this last one, the big part that everybody's kind of saying is ridiculous is that it's the mom that was really kind of going in at him, saying that he did all these things, not the daughter that actually had
Mhm.
sex. Which any parent, they're like, oh, you had a rape fantasy and decided to go with Dave Portnoy and have sex, and he went with it. Yeah, that mom's gonna freak out. Like,
yeah, I get that. Now.
deservedly so. Like, she should be upset at everybody in the situation because you don't want to hear that. Just keep that shit to yourself, daughter. Like, don't tell me. But that he had all the receipts, like just the DMs saying like, this is what I'm into. I like to get raped. Doesn't matter. The big part that he kind of did to change it around was everything's pointed at him. He's not saying I didn't do anything. I'm innocent. I'm sorry that people feel bad. He's like, well, why are you guys writing this article and putting it behind a paywall? Why are you putting my name out there and saying all these things but not making a real accusation? Clearly, you don't actually care about this girl. You care about making your brand bigger. So he flipped the switch and threw it back on Business Insider's CEO, and kind of like a guy that nobody knows, probably didn't have anything to do with the article, but he threw it back on him, and now it's turned from like him proving himself innocent, like kind of obviously Bill Cosby did it, but if Bill Cosby or somebody that gets accused of like the Me Too thing, they generally are saying, no, I didn't do that, no, I didn't do that, and they have to prove that they're innocent. He just took that out. He's like, I didn't do it. This is what's happening. Changed the entire narrative around, and nobody's talking, like, even like for like just all the interactions we've had, I definitely assumed you were going to be very much anti Dave Portnoy, but the fact that the conversation has changed around it to why are these guys like not actually doing the allegation, it was kind of like a perfect way to not get canceled because he didn't do anything wrong, and he also is able to keep his character because he's not pretending that he didn't do something
Yeah,
weird.
He handled that well. Then I feel like
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
It
I
was
get it.
kind of like I think he turned around as well with the fact it's a kink shame. It's like this is a kink that I'm into. This is what I have sex. Like I'm sure if he shows his DMs, he's probably had too many people like asking him to do all these things. So he's like, if this is what I'm into, why would I go to boring sex? So
yeah,
Interesting.
you know, it's an obvious position to hold, but like if there's actually a woman being hurt and like non-consensually assaulted, obviously you're going to take that seriously.
yeah,
But the thing is these girls aren't out here saying, hey, Dave Portnoy assaulted us. They're saying, hey, we know this guy's into some particular taste of foreplay. Cool. We're into that too. That's why we reached out. We think he's attractive. We're into what he's selling. And they all went with it. And, they're, not to say that it's so easy for every rape victim to just come out and like, immediately expose the person they're accusing. But like, I didn't hear shit about it until Business Insider. Like all the sex tapes and all that stuff. I've heard about all that. We all know that he's been into some weird shit, but no one's been coming at him until this article. And like you said, there's the paywall. There's all this other stuff that's kind of shady.
Yeah, I feel like that's the smoke and gun part where it's like, oh, okay, it's a big article behind a paywall.
Right. And
Okay.
like, I guess there was like this only one time that they actually reached out to him, and they just kind of like, he showed like the message, and it was something like, oh, hey, just want to reach out. We're thinking about doing an article about you. And he was like, nah, I'm not into it. And that was like months ago before all this came out. And now their story is that they were going to do an article on him, but as they talked to more people, the tone of the article shifted. What? Nah.
Interesting.
He basically called him out. He's like, that's bullshit. You guys are just trying to say that so you don't get sued because it's a hit piece. And I think at the end of the day, my bottom line is if the people that were actually involved are saying nothing bad happened, yeah, it was aggressive, it was this, it was that. The only way to take a negative out of that is to kink shame. Now, I just don't really care about kink shaming. It doesn't matter to me at all. As long as kids and other people aren't getting hurt, I don't give a shit what you do in the bed.
Yeah.
So like, do your thing. But the fact that they're just like writing this article, saying all these things and really painting him in a bad light just because of his sexual endeavors. If you're not actually going to accuse him of a crime, what are you doing? You're just writing this article to what? Make him look bad. It's super weak.
It's clearly just consent between two or more people, but because that consent isn't the version of other people's consent, they're trying to make an issue out of it.
Yeah. The whole thing's pretty stupid, to be honest. But speaking of stupid and Barstool, they had a tweet that pissed me off, and I want to rant about that. So let's quickly talk about this. I'm going to pull up this list that they tweeted, and this list is a power ranking of the top 10 female singers of all time.
This is how you know that generally the only people that work at Barstool are like between 20 and 30. They have the exact same mindset, so you'll see from the list.
Okay, so first off, if you were just give me like 2 or 3 names, who do you think are like the biggest female singers of all time?
Not all time?
Yeah, like not like trying to like test you in your knowledge, but like what names do you think just like first come to mind?
The girl from what is it, April Lime? I don't know.
I will go
Stevie Nicks. I don't know.
Stevie Nicks, you think she's up there? She should be
up there.
She should be up there compared to some of the people on this list.
Yeah.
I'll go Adele, Whitney Houston,
Easy.
With Amy Winehouse. I don't know. She's not really
Beyonce.
powered.
Beyonce.
Just I like her.
Beyonce should be up there.
Yeah,
Okay.
Beyonce.
What about Madonna? Foreshadowing. Okay, so this list, number 10, Addison Rae. Pause. What? Who the fuck? Okay, I know exactly who Addison Rae is.
Yeah, everybody knows Addison. Oh,
Matt
no.
doesn't know.
No.
She's a TikToker.
Oh, okay.
She was like when TikTok blew up and Charli D'Amelio was super popular because she's like the biggest TikTok girl in the world. Addison Rae was the like number 2, but she was of age, so everyone was like okay to sexualize her, and she was able to capitalize that on make some kind of movie. She's got like an acting career and a music career now.
I had no idea she made a song.
She sucks at both, so don't even stress it because they're both shit. I don't even think she's a good dancer. The whole thing, the fact that she's famous, she's pretty, and she's like 19, whatever.
Okay.
So the fact that she's even on this list when she doesn't even have a notable song that any of us can even name, let alone an album. What is she? What music has she sold? She's not a female performer, in my opinion. She's just a TikToker.
Okay. So that's number 10.
That's 10.
Okay.
And that's the biggest travesty because she's completely outclassed by who's on this list. But who's on this list is outclassed by people that aren't on this list. Number 9 is probably a pretty low ranking, but Adele, that one's an obvious. Adele's one of the highest selling artists in the last 100 years. So yeah, she should definitely be on this list. Probably a bit higher than 9 though. Then we have Tina Turner, also probably a little bit lower than she should be, but she should be on the list.
All I can think of is Bob's Burgers.
Tina.
Like, why is she on that list?
Okay, well, no. But number 7 is our next tragedy. I wanted to say travesty, but tragedy is another good word for this. Ashlee Simpson. She's not even the most famous singer in her own fucking family, and she's on this list.
She's most famous for lip syncing on that show and getting caught.
Honestly.
That's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
she did like a dance off or something like
Yeah,
that.
'cause she was lip syncing, and then she's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do a jig.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like,
Like she's and that's again somebody our age, like girls our age, they went like in the emo phase at like 13, 14.
Yeah.
That's when Ashlee Simpson popped off. So that's
Yeah.
the nostalgia vote.
yeah.
Yeah.
She had a couple songs that were like relatively popular on like Much Music and the radio back then, but like, give me a break. She's not even as popular as Jessica Simpson. And is Jessica Simpson even on this list? No, she's not. So why the hell? And let alone now we're talking about somebody that's in the niche of shitty 2000s like pop artist. Why isn't that Britney Spears? She's literally the queen of this, and you're telling me that Ashlee Simpson's more prolific? What? Anyways, I'm cheesed. 6, I'm okay with 6 is Beyonce, whatever. Aretha Franklin, okay, fine. Lady Gaga, I'm okay with that too. Number 3 is the last tragedy on this list. JoJo. Do you even remember the last time JoJo was even on the radio?
I don't know who that is.
I don't know, JoJo.
JoJo was a brunette girl that put out a song that I can't even think of what it's called.
Is that the Friday song?
No, that was Rebecca Black. She put out this song
People
when she was
on there.
14, when we were like legit 14. Like we were like 13. It was on Family Channel. It was about her boyfriend like cheated on her and like was trying to come back to her. I don't even remember. But like that's how fucking obscure JoJo is. That she hasn't been popular since we were 13.
Yeah, top 10 list. I don't know.
And she's number 3? I'm going to flip this fucking table. What do you mean? Why am I so emotionally invested in this list? I don't know. But that's bullshit. Like, what? This is ridiculous. I wasn't even out looking for things to like bitch about. And I just saw this list and I got so hot. I was so mad. The last 2 is Whitney Houston, which is good. And number 1, I'm only cheesed because it's number 1, but Mariah Carey, like Kyle was kind of saying already, off camera, it's Christmas time. That's it. That's the only time you think about Mariah Carey. She hasn't been popular since like 2002 other than Christmas. Like who the fuck cares about Mariah Carey?
Mariah Carey's the one that can hit like notes that literally no one else can.
Well, except for like 6 other people on this list, but yeah.
Okay.
Is she that special? No.
Who would you say is the best female artist?
Madonna. Easy.
Really?
She's like the highest selling female artist ever.
Isn't she like French Canadian or something?
I mean, is she? I don't fucking know.
I have no idea about.
Or no, that's Mariah Carey.
What
No. What am I thinking? Anyways.
Turns out you know everything about Mariah Carey.
Okay,
like,
so
no. That's number 1.
just a quick list of females that like the highest. This is a quick list of the highest selling female artists. I'm pretty sure this is an accurate order. It might be slightly out, but I would say with this top 10, it would completely overrule the legitimacy of this one that I just gave you. So number 1, obviously, Madonna. What the fuck? Number 2, why isn't she even mentioned on this list? Rihanna. Also, probably the most popular female artist of our era. Like, who's even close? I guess we'll give number 3's pretty close. Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, I guess she's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like she's pretty fucking popular, right? Why isn't she on this list? Addison Rae, are you kidding me? Like what?
Yeah.
Like this is a joke. Okay, they gave 4 to Mariah Carey. I guess Mariah Carey has sold a lot of Christmas albums, but like give me a break. Mariah Carey is trash, man. So trash.
I feel like Brittany does when I start talking about sports. I'm like, she kind of knows what she's talking about, but like, it's mostly listening and loving how hot you get.
You know what, Britt? Come at me. Mariah Carey's shit. Moving on, we have the other notable Whitney Houston. Yeah, that's fair. Another one that's not on that list, Celine Dion. What?
That's the Canadian
French
artist.
Canadian.
Yeah, that's who
what I
you were
was
thinking of.
Yeah.
Celine
the
Dion
Dion.
is huge.
I really enjoy that old school South Park used to use Celine Dion as like the Canadians' method of warfare or something like that.
I love it. I haven't seen those old episodes in so long.
It's been a minute.
Another classic South Park joke is coming up next at number 7, Barbara Streisand.
Oh,
Mecca Streisand.
Yes.
Barbara Streisand's one of those older ones that like I don't even know.
Very obscure.
I don't know a Barbara
To me.
Streisand song.
My most recent idea of Barbara Streisand is the Barbara Streisand.
Duck sauce. That's what I was just gonna say. That's the only
Barbara Streisand.
That's the only Barbara Streisand song I can even think of is that.
Yeah.
And that's not even her. Like that's how obscure she is in our era. Like sure, she was probably she obviously was huge in that era, but like our era, nah, no one listens to Barbara Streisand.
So is this a bunch of people? Like, are people casting votes for this, or is
I
it
have
just like
no-
the group?
Is
They
this
all
new?
just like a
They-
think tank and they just make the list on the spot.
They reference in the bottom of the graphic that the rankings generated from data gathered by the ULL, which I've never heard of. I tried to Google it and nothing relevant comes up. So I have no clue what they're doing. So I'm putting the onus on them. They made this list and it's their opinion and their opinion fucking sucks.
Yeah. Well,
That's how I feel about a lot of things, to be
who's
honest.
the kind of
but
person who actually writes out questionnaires and stuff like that? Middle-aged older women.
People on BuzzFeed that are just trying to hit their quota because they have so much content they have to produce in a certain week.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
The last 3 on that list are all super obvious. It was Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, and Adele. Other 3 mega titans of our era.
Did we not say Beyonce?
Beyonce, was she even on there?
So
I feel
both
like she
your
should
lists
be
are
number
shit.
one.
Both your
She's
lists are
just
shit.
like the best.
Beyonce wasn't on that because she's outsold by even Adele.
I don't care.
Technically, even though Beyonce in culture has been
bullshit. This is bullshit.
I would give her standing in pop culture a lot higher than some of those women. But as far as sales, she stopped selling records in like 2009 or something. As far as I'm concerned, like
her and Jay-Z are just literal billionaires.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
you don't
just-
have to do anything. At
yeah,
that
right.
point.
Like they have like maybe a one single every like 3 years, and then
Yeah.
when they go to concerts, they play like that single and then all their classics from like the early 2000s. No one cares about the rest.
Yeah,
They're just investing in people and being famous and being on every NBA courtside meme.
they had a pretty controversial commercial a little bit ago.
Oh, really?
The newest Tiffany commercial. It's literally just Beyonce playing a piano, and Jay-Z is in the background, like using like a Super 8 film camera to film her. So then behind them is this really famous painting by I can't even remember the name, so I'm not even gonna try. But it was like a African American artist from, I believe, New York, and
Sure.
his whole thing was like anti-establishment and not getting his artwork put up in museums and stuff like that. So then Tiffany specifically bought this painting because it had the same Tiffany blue color tone, and they're trying to suggest that more than likely he painted it for Tiffany, the brand, just so that they could use it at a later date, when like that was exactly what he went against.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
it's kind of weird. So if you see that commercial, it's like, it's just this like 3-second commercial of just like Jay-Z just like walking around this piano, and there's this big painting in the background. So if you look up that artist, it's there's a lot of controversy around it.
Huh.
Yeah. But billionaires, man, do whatever
what
the
they
fuck you
want.
want.
But
That's funny.
throwing it back to the female artists, you were number 3 there, Taylor Swift. Have you guys seen what she's been doing to kind of she's buying back all of her albums, basically getting ownership? I think, Dustin, you could break it down a little bit better than I can. But
from what I understand, like all her, like this has been like not a new story at all, but like all of her original masters from her like early hits that everybody grew up on and we all know, they got sold off to somebody. Like first it was like they're not for sale for years. She wanted to buy the rights to them back, and she just couldn't. The guy that had them is a complete piece of shit.
wouldn't sell.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit for several reasons, but I'm not getting into that. But then he finally did sell, and he wouldn't sell it to her. He sold it to somebody else. And so she's obviously pissed about that, but I don't think she's buying them back. I think that failed. I think her plan now is to re-record them and to re-release all of her old music, which has worked out in her favor. I'm pretty sure I heard that she broke every record for most played artist or female artist on Spotify in 24 hours or something like that. Like, she's breaking her own records, to be honest, because she's the one making those records in the first place. But the reason why I thought the whole situation was funny was because she just released Taylor's version of Red, which has this one song on it that I don't even know what it's called, to be honest, because I don't really listen to Taylor Swift that closely. But it's a song about Jake Gyllenhaal. They had like a 3-month relationship like 11 years ago. She took that song and made it a 10-minute extended cut. What?
Wow.
Why? How hard did he hurt you, Taylor? Like, what?
Well,
like, give this guy a 10-minute extended cut? Like,
well, that's the thing. Okay. The rumor mill behind that is that he had taken her virginity, and like it was kind of seems like she thought it was going to be more. He did not at all, because he was Jake Gyllenhaal at the time.
Well, she was what? Was she like 22 in that album? I'm guessing that off the song title. I don't know.
I don't know. I think she was 19 or 20 when it.
Okay, well, he's
happened.
9 years older than her, so that
Yeah.
was her first L.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's the thing. It's the song, and the controversy is kind of like whatever. That it's so insignificant, but everybody's like, "Oh, I'm on Team Jake," or "I'm on Team Taylor," like as if it's Twilight again. It's ridiculous. It kind of takes away from the fact that she's kind of leading the charge and owning her own shit. Like every time that she re-releases an album, Now she owns that and she gets the money from the stream. She gets all that. She doesn't pay the agent. She doesn't have the label behind her that's taking the majority of the money. Because like most artists, they don't really make that much money. They make the company a lot of money and they have to keep doing press, keep doing all this stuff to make sure that they actually make their money on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas she's kind of blazing the trail for like people in the past. It's hard to do it, but for new up and coming people, kind of like with podcasts, with YouTube videos, with anything, it's almost better to make it yourself and not make the money at the beginning so that you own it in the end. So then when you start out as Taylor Swift and then you end up where Taylor Swift is, if she would have owned it the entire time, she's already a multimillionaire. She could be like the highest grossing like female artist ever if she owned it the entire time. And she's kind of like exemplifying that by re-releasing them and having them break all these records. Like I think last year,
Interesting.
she released an album and then it was not like 2 of the songs were nominated for Grammys, and I was like, it's the same song that already won. Like this doesn't make any sense. But she's kind of just owning it, like not buying it back, but just re-releasing it, do it all herself. Now nobody can say that they're in charge of Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I do kind of like that in the sense that owning her own shit. I feel like that is like the next stage of everything. It does sound like the future for that industry because like you're saying, like some of these artists, especially like these indie artists, they're getting absolutely butchered in a lot of deals. And you get caught in contracts they can't escape. You get caught in situations with shitty people that you don't really know they're shitty yet. Like you can almost kind of bounce that off of what happened with Kesha over her career.
Yes.
She got caught in a pile of dog shit with a shit manager that was bad for 100 million reasons. And it took her forever to get out of that situation and to try and find the juice to restart her career and get things going again under her own control. Like that
one's a weird one for me too, because it's like the behind the scenes stuff. It's like, yes, you need to get out of that, but like her music was better. Like back then, her music was way better, way poppier, way catchier. Now she's a great feature now, but most of the time when she started doing her own, it was kind of like when Miley Cyrus decided she was a rapper. Yikes. And there was some kind of divide. This isn't what people are really looking for. This isn't how you normally would sing. So that was kind of weird when Kesha did it, but obviously the behind the scenes were so astronomically bad. You need to get out of that.
Yeah, there's just too much going on. I don't think having a couple hit albums would ever justify going through the shit that people like her have gone through. But there's, especially like, you think of how serious the Me Too movement actually is and how much these female entertainers actually have gone through. Who knows how much stuff is out there that never even got exposed, that people just like let it go because it was so long ago. But like having control of your own situation, not having to rely on shitty contracts with shitty people that found themselves in powerful positions because of other relationships they may or may not have had. Who knows? Yeah, it's a wild situation, but I mean, she's owning it now and it's paying off because she's got so many loyal supporters. Like I said, she's breaking all the records. So she's just going to keep, if this works out as well as it's working so far, she just keeps going. She'll be fine. It'll work itself out, I think.
Speaking of controversies, I've got a bone to pick with the whole fucking world.
I thought you were talking about me. You gave me that look and I was like, uh-oh. What did I do to your camera?
Add a bit of suspense there. So I was going through our feed and one of our older verticals, I realized there was a couple people calling us out on the Skittles controversy.
Skills controversy.
So the fact that Skittles all taste the same. So I've got a double blind test. This is scientific as fuck. And we're gonna try out a couple of Skittles and we're gonna squash this controversy.
Yeah, because someone said it was not Skittles, it was Fruit Loops.
Something like that.
Motherfuckers.
Let's find I'm pretty sure it's Skittles, man.
I was skeptical when you said it, and I was like, I don't really eat Skittles enough to really know, but I don't know if I believe you. So I'm glad we're doing this. You know what?
It came back actually to my mind, like literally like last weekend. I was out. Where did I go? I went out to Surrey to go watch a movie, And I was like, berry Skittles? That sounds blessed. And then I'm eating, I'm like, these are delicious. I don't know if Matt was right. I think that random guy in the comments might be right. I was like, what is this? These taste pretty. I'm like sitting there. I'm like driving. I like close my eyes. I'm like, wait, I shouldn't close my eyes.
Well, anyways, internet. We're going to figure this out today. I'm putting one on. Who wants the other one on?
Kyle's a
I'll be
pussy,
the
so he
pussy.
can have that. I'm the
Same
wise.
joke immediately.
I'm putting it on, man.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is my test.
Kyle doesn't
Okay.
get to
I
test.
don't need to.
Oh, I guess I can't put it with that on.
Oh,
You'll
no.
be the judge, Kyle.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get this. We probably should have opened it first. This is my
Okay.
kryptonite.
Kyle can't even open packed Skittles.
Oh, no.
Mm.
This is interesting not being able to see now, but I can still hear myself.
Right? Am I talking to the mic? Yeah. I can
Yeah,
feel it on my
I can hear you guys.
I
Don't
can
worry.
feel it on my lips.
Oh, my
That was really
goodness.
gross.
Okay, I gotta make sure I can't see it.
I'm actually really
Little
fired
back
up for
there.
this. Yeah, I gotta make sure I'm not cheating too. I know I'm the wise owl over here, but
Okay, we're gonna take our first one. Gonna go into your left hand.
Okay, I'm giving it a smell first.
we're doing smell first. Is it the same color, Kyle? Like we have to have the same color.
Yes.
Okay. Fuck.
Okay.
I smell just sugar.
Yeah.
Okay, take your bites. Take your bites.
Again, just sugar. My soul wants to say something green.
Mine tastes like strawberries.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. You guys are.
Did we
you
have the
guys are
same
on
color?
Part. Yes, you definitely had the same color.
Okay, and I said
Not the
strawberries.
same
and,
taste.
and Matt said what?
I said just green, whatever green is, apple or whatever.
Okay,
tasted
Dustin,
green.
your right hand.
Okay.
But were we right? Like, can we? Oh wait, we have to find out if they all taste the same.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
gonna tell you which color was which, Dustin.
Fair. Fair enough. Okay, still smells like sugar.
Okay, that's
That
good
one
stuff.
definitely tastes different. That one, that's strawberry.
No, that's green apple. I don't know what you're talking about, Matt, but that was green apple.
Yeah, maybe you're
Okay.
right.
No, Kyle's fucking with us. He gave me red, you green. Now he gave you green, and sorry, you red, and now me green. Kyle's fucking with us. I don't buy
Maybe
it.
that's green apple. It's only because you're saying it now. I'm quite. There was that
No.
definitely tasted different than
Oh.
the first one.
It definitely tasted different.
Do
It
you
was
guys-
green apple. I know I'm right.
Do you guys want one more to try?
Yeah.
Are they? Is it a different color?
Well, the next one will be.
Okay, let's bust.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
And so far, I was expecting all three of them to smell different. They all smell the exact. Like, the
They
smell
all-
is the
they
only
all
thing
smell
that is
like
the
Skittles.
same.
They all smell the same. Like we can do this with Fruit Loops later. I got Fruit Loops in the cupboard.
Of course, you've got Fruit Loops in the cupboard.
Oh, that's clearly different.
That's lemon. I already know.
Yeah,
You can't fool a fat boy. I know what snacks taste like.
that's
boys.
lemon.
Absolutely. So the guy in the comments might have been right, but
So
I
the-
want to know if I'm right.
So the guy in the comments was right, and Dustin was the one that was right. You both had red. You got your first two backwards. So you got your first two backwards. That's why I was like, oh, it might be right. And
Yeah.
then Dustin had it the opposite. But once you guys got the yellow, I was like, okay, Matt was incorrect.
Can I take this off?
Yes.
No, Matt, we're gonna do another one.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, just hold out your hand.
Okay, what the fuck's going on? I got in some tension over here. Fuck's going on, guys?
Okay, let's try this one out.
Okay, it's clearly still a Skittle. I was worried about something else getting put in my hand. Still smells like sugar. Is it stickier than normal? Or is that clammy hands? I can't tell. I'm very
A
sus
little
right
bit
now.
of both.
That tastes kind of grapey. Or is that purple?
A little grapey.
The man's good.
That was a little grapey.
Yeah, there is no way to trick Dustin with food.
No.
Fat boys, no. Like, come at me. Let's go.
You can
Hit me
take
with
your
that-
mask off now, but
Hit me
you
with
got
that
all four
berry
right.
mix. Hit me with that berry mix, boy.
I'm glad I did that because I was pissed about that. Like, fuck all you guys, man. You bunch of trolls trying to call me out on my bullshit. Yeah, apparently Skittles have different flavors.
Yeah, I
Yeah, so
honestly.
Matt's talking shit.
I'm talking pure shit.
Yeah.
I don't research anything.
We're gonna have to tag this guy in this thing so he could know that He got you.
Yeah, I'll take defeat. I'll take defeat.
So I was 4 for 4.
It
Eh?
has to be proven. Yeah, it's incredible that you were able to do
Flex.
that.
Flex on that
Like, with-
hose.
And it's funny because like how we talked about before with my nose, like when I get the surgery, I'm gonna be able to taste different, smell
Yeah.
different. We took away all of your senses except for touch and your tongue, and you still were perfect. Every single flavor. It was ridiculous.
The first one was a pure guess for me. I had no idea what that
It
flavor
was
was.
super faint.
But yeah, I just was like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you said green, and I'm sitting here looking at the two greens. I'm like, it's definitely correct. He's right. And then you said the right color. And I'm like, maybe like I trust Dustin's taste in this. There's not
we'll
many
have the
points where
cameras
I
to
know
see
it's
what
him.
colors in our hands.
Yeah,
So we'll
yeah.
be able to reference. That's hilarious.
All right. I'm
Well,
happy with
that's a beautiful way to end it, guys. I feel on top of
Yeah,
the world
the Skittle
right now.
controversy is gone.
And winning a competition is good for my narcissism. So
There we go.
Have a great day, guys.
There's people
That's it,
emptying
that's it.
basements.
we do appreciate all the new subscribers that have come on. We've seen our sub count literally double in the last month. Actually, double plus, like a little bit more than that. It's all small scale, but we do appreciate every single one of you guys. All the legitimate comments that people are leaving that are actually really kind. Wasn't expecting that, but thanks, man. Appreciate all you guys. And we actually contracted a few haters on a couple of videos, and you guys make every day better for me because I love laughing at you. So appreciate you too. Feel free to keep commenting. You're my favorite.
And we're out.
And we're done.
Until next time, hit it.
Deuce.